Hi everyone, I'm Daphne Mah, the Director of Asian Energy Study Center at Hong Kong Baptist University. Today I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to give a mini lecture on this topic, the relevance of energy to Sustainable Development Goals, and with some applications of gamification as a tool to engage the public in sustainable energy transitions. Now let me make a start by highlighting the relevance of energy to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. This slide shows you that energy is highly relevant to at least 6 of the SD goals. Now let's take a closer look at 3 of these goals. SD goal number 7 is about ensuring access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy. This goal emphasizes the importance of managing not only energy supply, but also energy demand in terms of energy consumption. And one of the most important approaches is to increase the use of renewable energy drastically from the current 17% to 85% by 2050. SD goal number 12 has to focus on sustainable consumption. This goal emphasizes on sustainable consumption and production that promotes energy efficiency, the creation of green jobs. In addition, it emphasizes that the private sector has a special role to play in sustainable energy future. It promotes private-public partnership to foster sustainable practices. Large transnational companies, in particular, can adopt sustainable practices and to integrate sustainability information into their sustainability reporting initiative. SD goal number 13, on the other hand, promotes taking urgent action to deal with climate impact. This goal emphasizes that we need to peak carbon emission and achieve carbon neutral goal by 2050. Following a discussion of the relevance of energy to SD goals, here in part 2 of this talk, I would like to explain to you how and why engaging the public, in particular through gamification, is important for us to realize sustainable energy transition. This slide provides you a bit of the context of energy as a global challenge. Issues relating to energy are among the most important and difficult challenges confronting the world today. Climate impact, air pollution, and issues of energy security has resulted in an urgency for us to act faster to decarbonize in order to meet the 1.5 degrees safe target. Many countries and cities around the world, including Hong Kong, have already set carbon neutral goals. Providing sufficient energy that is clean and can meet the requirements of a growing world population with rising living standards will require major changes in energy supply and energy efficiency. As you can see from the diagram on the left-hand side, fundamental changes within energy sectors are required to cope with sustainability challenges that are increasingly global in dimension. We need to transform the existing fossil fuel-based and centralized energy systems. Sustainable energy transition is therefore a long-term social technological process of structural changes that affect the generation, distribution, storage, and use of energy. As you can see from the diagram in the middle, sustainable energy transitions involve 2 main approaches. The first approach is related to the supply side of energy management. That is how we generate energy to ensure the supply of energy is sustainable while reducing the reliance on fossil fuel-based energy systems. A key solution is to mainstream renewable energy. The second approach is related to the demand side of energy management. which is about how we can manage our demand for energy so that we can become sustainable. The demand side has an emphasis on energy saving, energy efficiency, and demand response program. One of the most exciting new developments of the demand side management is in the area of smart grids. Smart grid developments are modernizing our existing electric power grid system through integrating ICT into it. For instance, by installing smart sensors and smart meters in households, we can engage households in energy saving, shifting demand from peak time use to off-peak time, and producing renewable electricity if the smart grid systems are supported by dynamic pricing system, which differentiate peak time and off-peak time for electricity fees. This scale of change implies that engaging the public in energy transitions is essential. As you can see from the diagram on the right-hand side, citizens are central to the whole system change. In particular, public perceptions has been found as an important factor affecting public acceptance of new green energy technologies and even more ambitious energy policies. But engaging the public in energy transition is very difficult for three reasons. Firstly, energy is doubly invisible. That people cannot see their use of electricity until they receive an electricity bill, nor can they see the positive impacts of their energy-saving behavior. Secondly, energy issues are often data-intensive, so laypersons simply find it very difficult to find relationship between them and energy issues. Thirdly, many energy decisions, for instance, to use more nuclear power to reduce the reliance on fossil fuels, are difficult to make because they involve value or conflict-laden ethical issues raised by energy production and consumption. Gamification is a very effective tool to educate and engage the public in sustainable energy transitions. Gamification involves the use of game elements such as pawns in a rule-based simulation that promote co-learning and collective action to solve problems. And therefore, games are fun, interactive, and inclusive. Game-based approaches to envisioning energy futures are particularly more effective than coercive methods. Rather than capturing the rational choices of players, card games, for example, can make it possible to develop situational understandings that reveal cultural, historical differences in local context and let players assume roles in energy saving and even producing solar power at home or in their communities. Game experiences will make players to reflect because they can feel like an active agent. For example, players can think about if they were a prosumer who can produce solar electricity on their rooftop while consuming electricity that they can buy from power companies. Now, in part 3, the last part of this talk, I'd like to share with you some examples of the application of gamification. The first application of gamification that I'd like to share with you is Enercities, which is an online simulation game. The details of this game can be found from the project website. As you can see, the hyperlink at the bottom of the slide. This project offers a serious gaming learning platform for players to experience energy-related implications. And this game have a target group of young people between the age of 15 to 20 years old. The goals of this game, two goals. Firstly is to create and expand virtual cities dealing with pollution, energy shortages, renewable energy, and secondly, to facilitate players to envision possible energy futures. Here is one more example of an online energy simulation game which I found really interesting. This My Europe 2050 is a kind of e-learning tool so that you can create your own pathway to a low carbon future by 2050. The third application is an online game called Energy Cot, the House of Tomorrow. It is an online game for enhancing awareness of energy efficiency in social housing communities in the UK. So you can see this sort of online game, they can be quite specific in the energy issues that they want to focus and also on the target group. And the target players include kids and adults. And the goal is to engage players to learn how to change household energy consumption behavior so that they can reduce energy bills. The last application of gamification that I'd like to share with you is a card game called Mobilising Every Young Former to Act, which is produced by Oxfam in Hong Kong. You can buy this card game in Hong Kong at the Oxfam offices, and you can also see how it is played by kids from this YouTube video. And this game actually is not directly related to energy. The themes of these games are about rural poverty among farmers in developing countries, and it is also about global citizenship. And yet I still want to show you this card game. It's because I think it's the beauty of this game is that although it's nothing about high tech, it's just a simple card game, and yet it is very effective in helping children to learn about public values and trade-off decisions that they will have to make when they come across with these issues of rural poverty. When we bring this experience from this card game to energy engagement, I think you can give more thoughts on how we can use card games to help young kids or even adults to think or become more aware of those public issues about energy, such as energy autonomy or energy equity. In Hong Kong, there are indeed many opportunities for us to make good use of gamification to engage the public in Hong Kong energy transitions. One example is through our ongoing Research Impact Fund project, which is funded by the Hong Kong government and is about a 6 million project, and it is about smart energy communities in Hong Kong. As you can see from the diagram on the left-hand side, in this project, we are going to recruit 600 households in 4 communities in Hong Kong, and these households will install our app and also engage in our community engagement events. And the project actually aims to change these households' energy behavior to a more environmental friendly pattern. And community engagement is a key element of our project. So in September this year and from to next August, we are going to organize about 16 workshops in these 4 communities. And in this workshop, actually, we have the thinking to introduce the gamification elements into it. And there are 2 opportunities or possibilities for us to do so. The first one is we may launch a neighborhood energy challenge in our 4 smart low-carbon energy communities. A good reference would be the Chicago Neighborhood Energy Challenge. As details of this challenge can be found from this website. And another opportunity for us to use gamification elements is to use a card game in this workshop, so that we can engage kids and their family members in to think about their energy future in their community. So if you have good ideas about how our project can use gamification elements, do feel free to share with us. We'll very much appreciate it. To conclude, I'd like to highlight that energy is highly relevant to major sustainable development goals, and gamification can be a particularly effective engagement tool to engage ordinary people in sustainable energy transitions. And I think it's very interesting to find that gamification can be applied in a great variety of formats, as you can see from the examples that I showed you, that these gamification can take place, can be in the form of very sophisticated online game, but on the other hand, they can be as simple as some board games which are played by young kids. And this gamification formats can target at different players, from young kids to adults, and these gamification projects can have different goals. Say they can aim to engage players to learn how to change household energy consumption behavior, and in some other cases they aim to enhance people's awareness of public values such as energy equity, energy autonomy, and in some other occasion gamification projects can facilitate people to envision possible energy futures. So and now I think this is your turn, and we do look forward to your gamification projects.